The world of human intelligence and science driven by probability. How many times do we hear the word probability in a single day? Probably far more often than we think. We check the chance of rain in the morning weather forecast. We predict the outcome of a sports game and talk about the chances of winning. Doctors explain the probability of developing a disease. Online stores estimate the probability that we will buy a product. Probability has already become a part of everyday life. More than 200 years ago, the famous French mathematician Pierre-Simon Laplace said, "Probability theory will become one of the most important parts of human knowledge." It may have sounded like an exaggeration at the time, but looking at the world today, his prediction was remarkably accurate. Big data, artificial intelligence, self-driving cars, and financial systems all rely on probability. Why has probability become so important? We live in a world full of uncertainty. Some events are predictable, but many are not. For example, a class begins at 3 p.m. today. That is a fixed fact. But will it rain tomorrow? Will stock prices rise? What score will I get on the exam? These questions do not have certain answers. A value with multiple possible outcomes is called a random variable. Since a random variable cannot be determined by a single number, we express the likelihood of each possible outcome as a probability. Take the weather forecast as an example. The Weather Service often says, "There is a 70% chance of rain tomorrow." Some people ask, so will it rain or not? But probability does not give a definite answer. It tells us what is possible. Whether to bring an umbrella is still our own decision. Probability is like a guide that helps us make choices. In mathematics, we usually think of probability as follows. As the number of trials becomes very large, this ratio approaches a fixed value. This is the basic idea of probability. However, people are used to making judgments based on experience. As a result, experience alone often leads to the wrong conclusion. For example, suppose a coin lands on heads 5 times in a row. Many people think the next toss is more likely to be tails. In reality, however, the next toss still has a 50% chance of landing on heads and a 50% chance of landing on tails. Has this ever happened to you? That is why probability helps overcome the limits of our intuition. Just as a bus driver uses multiple mirrors to check blind spots, probability reveals the blind spots in our thinking. Probability is also an essential tool in science. In particular, modern quantum mechanics cannot explain the world without probability. The exact position of tiny particles, such as electrons, cannot be known. Instead, scientists express the probability of finding them at a particular location. Quantum mechanics has shown that the world is not completely deterministic as once believed. In the world of tiny particles, probability is the language of nature. Statistical physics also does not calculate the motion of every air molecule individually. Instead, it uses probability distributions to explain temperature and pressure. Probability is also essential in medicine. When researchers develop new drugs, they analyze clinical trial results to estimate a drug's effectiveness and the likelihood of side effects. They also use probability to assess disease risk and choose the best treatment. Probability also powers modern artificial intelligence. Generative AI, such as ChatGPT, creates sentences by predicting the most likely next word. Self-driving cars also analyze their surroundings and choose the action most likely to be safe. Modern science and technology are difficult to explain without probability. But one thing is important. Probability does not give the answer. It shows what is possible. If there is a 40% chance of rain, we may bring an umbrella or leave it behind. A low chance of getting sick does not guarantee safety. Probability only provides information for making a choice. The final decision always belongs to us. So, understanding probability is not just about being good at calculations. It is about making wiser decisions in uncertain situations. The world we live in has far more uncertain problems than problems with fixed answers. In that world, probability is not magic that predicts the future. It is a light that helps us make better choices. When facing a decision, do not rush to conclude that something is certain or impossible. Instead, ask, which outcome is more likely? That is where probabilistic thinking, one of mathematics' most valuable lessons, begins.